Welcome to my madness, ladies and gentlemen. Today we're going to be taking a look at this Secret Wars 2-pack from Hasbro Marvel Legends with Monica Rambeau, Captain Marvel, and Doctor Doom from the Secret Wars storyline. Now, out of all those, Avengers packs that have come out this year, this was the one I was the most excited about, primarily for both of these figures because, first of all, this Doctor Doom is just kind of the classic look for me personally, and the reason I say that is because when I started reading comics was right around the time Secret Wars came out back in the mid-'80s. That's when I started reading Marvel Comics as a kid, and so this was like the first look I remember for Doctor Doom. And then of course later on I had the Secret Wars action figure of this version of Doctor Doom. So this in my mind is just like my first memory of Doctor Doom. So to finally get him in the legend scale was something I was very excited about. And then of course Monica Rambeau is Captain Marvel. She is the second Captain Marvel we ever got in the comics, and to be perfectly honest, this should have been Captain Marvel in the MCU. In the movies, instead we got Carol Danvers, who nobody likes, and we got crappy Carol Danvers for several movies, and are still getting her in another movie that nobody wants to see. But anyway, I digress. Monica Rambeau is the better of those two Captain Marvels, and I wanted a good classic Monica Rambeau Captain Marvel. So we've got a 2-pack with the Doctor Doom I want and a Captain Marvel for Monica Rambeau. I was very excited for this. So what was the execution? Am I still excited now that I have it? Well, first of all, we'll talk about accessories because Monica Rambeau, she does come with fisted hands and open hands, and Doctor Doom comes with fisted hands and open hands. And then of course, Doctor Doom does come with a separate head sculpt, an unmasked Doctor Doom, where he does have a separate mask, which is a nice flexible mask. You could put it on here, but it's not going to stay on unless you glued it, I guess. He also does come with the hood down, so if you do want to put that unmasked head on him, you can put that on there so it looks like his hood is down. But I'm not going to have my Doctor Doom with any of that stuff on there because this is the look I want for him, is this classic Secret Wars look. And as far as the figures themselves go, so for Monica Rambeau, I think they did an amazing job as far as the deco here. This is just a good classic look. The head sculpt looks great. I love the hair, the face, everything. The logo on the chest is nice and clean. Simple black and white costume, just like I remember from back in the 80s. It's a great look for Monica Rambeau in her run as Captain Marvel. But then we get to the bad part of this figure, which of course is the horrible arms. These stupid single jointed arms with no bicep swivels. What the hell, Hasbro? I mean, seriously, they have more than enough sculpts now at this point for female arms that have double jointed elbows and bicep swivels, and we still get this crap on a character that a lot of people have been wanting for a long time, on a classic Marvel character. And this is what they give us with these arms. Now, besides the arms, I mean, the articulation on everything else is great. You've got that upper torso joint that you get with all the females, standard hips, thigh swivels, double jointed knees, ankles, heads on a ball joint, although her hair keeps it a little bit difficult to kind of move it around too much, but still really, really good. And other than the arms, the sculpt is great, and the deco is exactly what you'd want. Now, it's very simple, it's just black and white, but that's what the character looked like. But we get these stupid arms that, by the way, these things are so skinny. Look how skinny these arms are here. It looks absolutely ridiculous compared to the rest of her body, where she's, got a little bit wider hips and some thicker thighs, and, it's well proportioned here, except for these ridiculous arms. I'm probably going to do an arm swap on this for some better arms, but should I have to? I mean, should I have to customize a figure just to get it the way it should be? And in a way in which it's not like it's asking for anything from Hasbro at this point. I mean, they have the sculpts to be able to put better arms on her. They just decided not to, but whatever. Now let's take a look at Doctor Doom, which I do think is the better of the two, because of the fact that I don't have any issues with him whatsoever. And I know a lot of people have had issues with the gray plastic or the reuse of Iron Man's arms and legs and that kind of thing. I don't have a problem with that at all. I think this is great reuse. I think the legs look fantastic. The arms look fantastic. I think this is exactly what I remember Doctor Doom in Secret Wars looking like. And I think if you're going to reuse something, this is the way to do it. I think they did a fantastic job. I think it looks great. You do get the band around the leg to kind of have him differentiated from standard Iron Man legs there, which of course he had that band in the comics and in that original action figure. The new chest, torso, looks fantastic. Great metallic paint there. You got all the detail work in it. Looks fantastic. The head sculpt looks great. I mean, this to me is just that classic Doctor Doom that I remember from the Secret Wars comics from 35 years ago now at this point. I mean, this is awesome for me. So, I mean, I think the execution overall is really well done on these two figures, except for Captain Marvel's arms, which is just egregious at this point when Hasbro has access to good arm sculpts for females. I just don't think there's any excuse. It's certainly not a cost issue. I don't think there's any excuse to not have standard arms on this figure, especially when it's a figure that's never been done before, that we've been wanting for a long time, at least people like myself, and I think it's a shame that we didn't get that. So overall execution, I'd say, is 95% there outside of Captain Marvel's arms. I think Doctor Doom is great. It's exactly what I would want in this figure. I think Marvel is done really well except for the arms. So we're 95% there. So execution overall is pretty good as a two-pack if you're taking both figures into consideration. But if you're looking at them one-on-one, would I buy both of these figures individually? I would absolutely buy this Doctor Doom, and I don't think I would buy that Captain Marvel because of the arms, which is a shame. I don't want to buy a figure that I immediately have to customize just to get it where Hasbro should have had it. It's one thing if you have a figure that, like Hasbro did, as much as you can reasonably expect them to do, and maybe you want a little more and you want to do a little customizing yourself, but literally putting double jointed arms with bicep swivels is the least Hasbro could have done with this figure, and they failed at that. So if I'm looking at these one-on-one, Doctor Doom, I love it. Captain Marvel is a fail, which really, really sucks. Now, I do want to do some comparisons here real quick. We're going to throw up some other figures with these two to see how they stack up, and then we're going to talk about whether or not this two-pack is worth it. Alright, so to throw in some other Secret Wars characters here, we've got black suited symbiote Spider-Man. Of course, his first appearance was in Secret Wars. We've got kind of a classic Iron Man. And of course, we got Hulk there at the back. Now, I threw this classic Iron Man up so that you can see. I mean, we've got the same arms and legs on these two figures. So great reuse there as far as I'm concerned. Everything else is new and original on the Doctor Doom. But this gives you a good idea how these two stack up. And I think they stack up perfectly. Right? Like, other than if you're just looking at Captain Marvel without taking into consideration her arms, this is a great two-pack, and it works really, really well if you were to, like, throw together a Secret Wars display. Alright, so let's talk price here real quick, and full retail on this two-pack here was $50. Now, recently it did go on sale at Target for half price, so $25 for this two-pack, and that's honestly where a lot of people were picking these things up, and honestly, a lot of the Avengers packs that came out this year, a lot of people were picking up on clearance at Target, and certainly for $25, hands down, yeah, it's totally worth it. But what about at full retail? Is it worth $50? To which I go back to what I said earlier, which is if these two were individual figures, both retailing at $25, would I buy both of them? And I would certainly buy this Doctor Doom, absolutely. The Captain Marvel, I probably wouldn't buy because of the arms. Now look, if the single jointed arms don't bother you, great. And I love the look for Captain Marvel, and I love everything about this figure other than the arms, and I really want this Captain Marvel in my collection, so ultimately I'm glad I still got it, even though I'm probably going to tweak this thing and give it different arms and do some stuff to it. But even if I didn't, at least I'd still have a Monica Rambeau on my shelf, and I'd still be glad that I have it. But it's hard for me to say that it's worth the $50, that it's worth basically paying $25 for each of these figures, because this Captain Marvel is just not worth $25. The very least Hasbro could have done is given her proper arms, and they didn't, which makes this figure not worth $25. So it's hard to say that at $50 this two-pack's worth it, because I don't think it is. Even though I'm glad I have it, even though I'm glad I have this version of Captain Marvel, I don't think it's worth the $50. And that sucks to say, but it's true. So, yeah, I can't say at full retail that this two-pack is actually worth it. So, there you go. Take it for what you will. But I would love to hear in the comment section what you guys have to say. Do you have this 2-pack? And if so, what do you think of it? And I know a lot of people were hating on this Doctor Doom for all the reuse. I absolutely love the reuse. I think this is a great example of reuse well done, because this is what Doctor Doom looked like. And I think it works, but would love to hear what you guys think in the comment section down below. So let me know down there what you think. So thank you guys for watching, and always remember to enjoy your collection.